I don't?
No.
You sure?
Yep.
It's going?
Live? Yep.
Hey. Hi, my name is Matthew.
I'm Taylor.
And we are Level Up Video. Our specialty is turning experts into influencers. And today we are going to talk a little bit about that. Now, a lot of people, they ask all the time, how do I become an influencer? We're so used to seeing these people on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or other platforms who have a huge following, and they're using it for their business. They're using it to attract people, to get the message out, and to make new sales. It's a wonderful use of the platforms. One could argue that's what they're for. And we love talking about it, so we thought we'd hop on here. If anybody has any questions, you can ask it at any time. But until then, I'm going to ask Taylor a few questions. So Taylor, one thing that I think is kind of funny is everyone acknowledges that having a following on social media is very powerful. Even if you had 100 loyal people, those are people that trust you, see you as the experts. And then if you're selling something, eventually they often want to buy from you, the expert. Yet a lot of people don't realize the time and the effort it takes to put into this. Why is there such a disparity there?
I mean, I think a lot of times people want it everywhere in the instant gratification. Like, I want it now, I want it now. But it takes a while to just figure out what your audience even likes. I mean, what we do when we first start working with clients is we do some research on competitors and what other people are looking for in whatever industry we're looking at. But then also we're like, okay, these are our best guesses on the type of content we think will work. And so we kind of do a shotgun approach for the first, we call it like 33 videos. That's a good way to, after you've done that, you can kind of start getting some barometers of, who is actually responding to different content in different ways. And so after that, we get an idea of what's actually working. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people aren't willing to put in that part of the process, the testing part. So I think that's why there's such a disparity, especially because people see oh, this person just put up their phone and took a video and went viral. I can do that too, right? One thing I always say is people think the barrier to entry is very low. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket. And people also think the barrier to success is equally as low, which it is not. Because if the barrier is the same for everybody, then you kind of have to go, a few steps beyond to elevate that. So
yeah, absolutely. If you're tuning in, if you guys have any questions on building a channel or how that would be useful for yourself or a business, let us know. But Taylor, so you and some of our editors have been working for a long time building your channels. And I think, like you said, people look at that and they say, but you're just talking, I can do that. And they don't know how hard it is at the beginning. So if you had to guesstimate, I know it's been a while, but at what point do you think someone's starting fresh, brand new? At what point do you think they're going to start making a connection with an audience that's bearing fruit?
Ooh, yeah, probably. The key is being consistent. So if you're consistent for maybe 6-ish months, I think at that point you've tested content and you'll be able to tell if it, what's working, what's resonating. And then I think once you've got something that's resonating, then people are more likely to comment. And I think you can kind of start building a little community. You can people are leaving comments, you can have these conversations back and forth. So I think probably at 6 months, if you're posting regularly each week and testing what's working and you're talking to your community, I think that's probably a good way, a good barometer. Does that sound about right to you? What do you think?
Gosh, I know that the 33 videos you told me was kind of the barometer for YouTube algorithm to really understand your audience. And I feel like with our first client, it was almost at 33 videos that it really, oh my goodness, and videos really started to click. So when we first started with this client, their audience was dead. They hadn't put up a new video in months. They were checked out, not paying attention. And at first we were getting video views in the single digits, then the teens, then the 20s. And I think right around 30, we started to hit 30s, 40s, 50s. And now I would say the average views on a video is maybe somewhere around, what do you think, 60s?
Probably in the 60s, yeah, closer to the 60s. Yeah, we've had a couple of videos that, have gotten thousands of views. I want to say, I could be wrong, but one of them is close to crossing 10,000 views.
I saw that, yeah. No, I was shocked to see that. I think they've got one about to cross 10,000. I was looking at Bulldog the other day. They have a video of ours that we put up years ago the first female serial killer that's about to cross 8,000. So it's like,
nice.
hey.
Yeah, I mean, we have ones on Bulldog that are like 25,
Yeah.
like some big ones. So
okay, let me ask you this. A lot of business owners, you know, they love seeing the eyes, they love seeing the attention, but of course, the question that everyone wants to ask, I know you know what it is.
When is it going to turn into money?
Bingo. Yeah. So, I mean, what's it like looking at these people that are getting views and getting attention and getting an audience paying attention for the first time, really? But they're like, but hey, where's the money?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing, right? Because at first you have to build the audience and make sure they're tuning in each week, right? So you can't sell them something when you're getting 2 views. I mean, you could, but that's like, what's the point, right? So you really need to like build up this like loyal following of people that are going to check in every single week. And then, you know, once you have established that, like after this, like sometime after that 6-month period that we talked about, you're like, okay, we've got content that we know is working. We have a little community that we're building that is tuning in regularly and getting, you know, is interacting. Then I think at that point you can start being like, hey, I have these services that I offer, or by the way, I have this course if you're interested in learning more. I think at that point you can start sprinkling that in. And I think, you know, because you've provided so much free value for so long, I think it's a fair ask, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, especially like with the clients that we work with, we make videos that I think provide a lot of value to their audience, and we make a lot of content for them. And so, you know, to just get free entertainment for so long and then just be like, hey, you know, like I'm doing this thing. Hey, you want to learn more about your health, or hey, you want to learn more about how to make your skin better, or whatever the thing is, you know, like I think audiences and it's better to start early, because like once you start early, it's easier. Like people are kind of used to that ask early on, as opposed to like if you have a giant challenge, like, by the way, and people might be like weird about it or something. So
sure.
Do it as early as you can, for sure.
I love how you say sprinkle in, because that's another thing that people we've worked with have confusion about, is they don't understand, well, why can't I sell every single post that I put up on social media? I mean, because then you're just spamming me, and it's so exhausting to watch a channel where like, you don't care about me. You know, you're clearly trying to get me money. And I feel like that's the unspoken agreement that we all have with these businesses on social media. Of course, you're trying to get my money, but at least let's play the game and pretend that you're giving me a little info, interaction. Because I mean, so we run a business level of video. If y'all are wondering how you can become influencers, that's what our businesses do. We turn experts into business influencers. And we're here because we love talking about it. And we want to answer some things that are coming up this week. So if you guys have any questions, just hop on there, type it in, let us know, and we'll answer it. But yeah, that kind of struck me as pretty funny. Whenever we work with a supplier, provider, a service, and they have wonderful customer service, and it's like, I know that you're trying to get my money, but at least you're making it a pleasant experience. And some of my favorite channels, of course, they're trying to get my money, but their channel is fun and entertaining, and I want to watch it. It's fun to watch it.
I mean, we've done that like recently. Like there's a channel that Matt really likes on Instagram, and we needed a pre-made document, and so we just bought it from him because it was so much easier to have it pre-made instead of doing it from scratch. And we were happy to pay it because the guy has provided so much value and so much good information. And I think that's it. It's like, hey, you know, like you said, it's funny, like we're playing this game here, right? It's like, hey, I'm gonna give you some value. You don't have to buy, because I think that's the other thing. I think people expect 100% of their audience to buy from them, and that's just not gonna happen. I mean, there's a sizable chunk of your audience that are just there for the information or the entertainment, and they're probably not going to buy. But you know, that's the point of doing this, is like, hey, there is a sizable chunk of people that will. Yeah. And you just never know. I mean, you've told me before, we have a colleague or a work friend who has done YouTube videos, and they've gotten clients exclusively from that, where Chris is, friend, right? It's
a friend of a friend, and they've been working on their channel for about 3 years, and all they do is they whip out their phone, they film it vertical, and they talk about frequently asked questions. But you know the power of 3 years of building up a channel solely for entertainment can have. I mean, it just cracks me up that so many people, like, 6 months, why haven't I seen anything? You know, you're at the gym 6 months. Do you go from 300 pounds to abs? Probably not.
Yeah, it's a muscle you got to work for sure.
Yeah, I like that, a muscle. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this, Taylor. So a lot of people, when we are coming in as a business and we're looking at these businesses and their setups, we just started working with another client. Wonderful service, wonderful team of experts. Gosh, they're so knowledgeable, passionate, excited, everything you want from a team. Does it surprise you sometimes when you come in and you see what people are doing and their setups that they think is normal and good enough?
It does, but maybe I should stop being surprised, because it's like it's so janky and kind of not how I would do it, but that's why they pay us, because we do know what we're doing, and it is better. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised anymore. You're always telling me how much I know and how much of an expert I am, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, but going to enough of these in-person meetings and meeting enough clients, I'm like, okay, maybe nobody knows what they're doing, really.
That's the thing that cracks me up the most, is I feel like when we're starting to talk to people, as someone who's a prospect, obviously they know that I'm trying to sell to them. But, a lot of times I say to people, I'm like, hey, I know you're having success with this video series. We can sit down with you for an hour and get your series out to more people. We can get it to more eyes, get more views, get more engagement. And they're so wary to do that. And it's like, this is free. This is not money. This is not an obligation. You don't owe me anything. And that's been the hardest part, is people are so wary of improving, even if they know that their system is wrong.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, this is adjacent to kind of what you're saying, but a lot of people have really been screwed. We found it in this industry that people have been screwed, and they're really hesitant to work with somebody because they think they're going to get screwed again. And they're always surprised when we actually say, we say something and we actually do it. They're like always really surprised. I'm like, and I should stop being surprised at that. That's another thing I think I need to be being surprised about, because apparently there's just a lot of scam artists out there, but we actually do what we say, and we try to show people every step of the process. Like, I was just on a phone call today and I was trying to explain something, and she's like, I don't get this. I'm like, don't worry, we'll come in, I'll show you everything. We'll make sure it's exactly how you want it. So
I see we got a couple people watching. If you all are watching this, I would love to know, have you thought about making a channel before? Do you have a channel? Do you think it would be useful to you, either as a person or in your business or in your day-to-day job? I'd love to hear what you think. So I promise I won't bite. If you guys are watching this, let us know where you're at. Are you starting something? Have you thought about it? Do you think it's not useful for your industry? I love those conversations. That's very fascinating.
Yeah, we've got a lot of experience on a lot of different platforms. I would say YouTube is probably our expertise, but we know quite a lot about a bunch of other things. I used to work at Facebook, so I know a lot of that back end stuff. So, so like you said, we have had a new client recently. Like, what to you, what's kind of the most exciting part about getting them on a channel, especially when their content is either let's low quality or not as good as it could be, or non-existent? Like, what's kind of your favorite part about getting that up and running?
My favorite part, unfortunately, doesn't come until a few months later, because my favorite part is going, do you know how many people have promised us our channel is going to grow, and you guys are actually making it grow? That makes me feel so good. I love that. But it's fun in the beginning when there's a lot of simple problems that we can solve in a day. We can improve the whole system that someone's been working with for years, sometimes in a day. And like the other day, I was hoping you were going to help me with something, and you ran over to help them, and I was like, that you're better off helping. They need you more than I do right now. Sure. I can wait a couple of days. And then when you told me about it, I was like, good Lord, did they need you? But that is just so fun. And honestly, sitting down with these people for the first time and hearing their passion about their expertise. What we always say is, we say, if you're an expert in your field, what's an expert in the field? I would say working at least 10 years, some people 5 years, they're an expert. Working at least 10 years in your field, that other people, even if it's people under you in the hierarchy, consider you an expert. If anyone considers you an expert, you probably are. And it's hardest for who to recognize their expert?
Themselves.
People
are so reluctant, because there's always somebody above them. You're never, very rarely are you on the top of your industry, right? So it's people are very reluctant to call themselves experts.
But that warms my heart to sit down with people, and it's almost like people forget why they love their job or why they do their hobby or the thing that they do. And then you give them a good interview, you give them the lights and the camera, and you make them look great, and they go, oh God, I haven't thought about that story in 6 months. Or like when people start to tear up, or they're like, oh, this is why I love my job. And it's like, yes, thank you. And especially, I think us compared to other producers, because other producers, they say more energy, less energy, be louder, be quieter. They're trying to get these people to be someone you're not. And here's a really weird tip for those of you guys watching this. This thing right here, the camera, one thing it shows is ingenuineness. If you are trying to be somebody you're not, oh my goodness, it's going to look so awkward. And a lot of people, when they're starting out, that's what they're doing. They're trying to pick some crazy person that they admire. I'm going to be Gary Vaynerchuk. Here we go, Gary V. And they can't, because they're not Gary V.
Yeah.
But once you give them the permission to be themselves, then, oh God, they could talk forever. Their expertise shines through. And that's the secret. People always ask, oh, well, what's your guys' secret? Do you use effects or do you use influencers? We get you experts to talk about what you do. That's the secret to building a channel.
And that's the other thing I think that, like, this happens almost every shoot. People are like, wow, it was really easy to do that. I feel so comfortable. I mean, like, you're really good at getting people comfortable, and like, especially people that are typically uncomfortable on camera. Because there's some people that just like, when they're not on camera, they're like super expressive and very charismatic. And then the camera turns on and they're like, yeah. Yeah, so it's really great. It's really satisfying when people say that, because it's like, oh, cool, like, like we're actually helping you out and getting you something better.
I can't wait to see this first round of videos for this new client, because again, we had a member of their team who's clearly an expert, clearly passionate, a good speaker, because she speaks with clients regularly on the same issues that they have, and that was so crystal clear talking to her. Footage looked great. It was an incredible improvement on what they're used to. And I can't wait. That part is so much fun. Yeah. What about you? Has anything been surprising or interesting as we like get back into this welcoming new people on board?
I think it's kind of getting more comfortable, like recommending things as opposed to like, what do you want? Like being more like, no, we're going to do this. Like, step aside. Let me show you a better way to do it.
That's right.
And I think I've slowly got more comfortable doing that. And the more I realize, like, that's why people are, paying us and hiring us, is because they want expertise from experts. It's like, okay, well, let me just show you everything that I've got. And that's satisfying for me, because there is so much that I know, and it's kind of fun to blurt it all out or share it all. And I'm slowly realizing that I know more than I think, because it's like, oh, like when I'm trying to explain something, I'm like, I have no idea what you mean. Like, let me stop and I'll just show you later.
Yeah. It cracks me up, the little things that make such a big difference. This is really silly. But so this client, they wanted a green screen, right? So they have a big piece of paper, which is a fantastic stand-in for a green screen if you don't have hundreds of dollars to buy a fancy green screen. And they're trying to tape it into the corner of a room. And I knew, because we've tried this before, you can't really tape it into a corner very well. Let's get a flat wall to tape it on. What a stupid piece of knowledge. I'm not a corner taping expert by any means, but that was helpful and useful to them. And they don't know. They don't know that. They've never done it before. Yeah. And I think sheerly being an expert for so many years and having tried and failed over and over, you just know this bevy of tips and tricks that's going to help people make a better channel, grow faster, record their thing in a higher quality. I mean, that is really fun.
No, definitely. I agree. It's always fun to be able to like give them a giant upgrade right up front, and then just continue to hone their message with the videos that we make just over and over and over again. So that's pretty fun.
Taylor, can you tell me about the article that you saw in the New York Times that said something about podcasts are dead, and why that stood out to you so much?
Yeah, this one really chapped me. But it's kind of old at this point, but it was this it was this girl. I don't even know what their podcast was about. I think it was Life Advice or something. It was this girl and her friend, and they did like 3 episodes, and they quit after 3 episodes because they weren't getting sponsorships already. It's like, and the really annoying thing was that somebody wrote an article about it, and it's like, what's the story here that people gave up after 3 episodes? I don't understand. And it's like, but to me, having done my own channel for so long and having worked with these clients for so long, it's like, you're never gonna, I mean, you could get you could get I totally lost my train of thought with that. You could go viral with your first episode. You could grow after that first episode, but that is unlikely, highly unlikely, unless you have unless you have a bigger following somewhere else, or if you've got, like a really popular guest or something. Like, it's just, chances are that's just not going to happen. So you just have to put in the work, put in the time. Hone, refine over time.
It's like getting struck by lightning. You may, but you probably won't. Let's all be honest. Taylor, you got a question?
Well, thank you for the question, Michael. Unfortunately, not talking about too much game stuff today, but if you have any questions about anything growing on YouTube or any other social media channels, happy to answer that, but excited for both to answer your question.
Nice. I'm glad you answered that anyways. It's pretty funny. So for those of you who don't know, Taylor has built a extremely successful channel talking about JRPGs, Japanese role-playing games. And Taylor also has another gig that he's working on where he co-owns a business that turns business experts into influencers. And frankly, a lot of the lessons that we started out with, we learned from you and your success building this channel.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much everything I learned from building my gaming channel. I've applied to like client stuff. Yeah. And for people that are coming in from my channel, so this is like my business that I do with my partner here, Matt, that we do full time. And we build channels for businesses. So, we've worked on everything from doctors' offices, skincare clinics, fundraising, platform, tours, all kinds of stuff.
Goodness.
So, anything you can think of.
Pretty much.
So, but a lot of the lessons I learned from my personal channel, I took with us. And there, for a while I was just sort of doing whatever with my channel, but then there was a time where I'm like, let me really dig into some information and learn. And I just went crazy and found all the YouTube experts, and I watched everything there is to watch on YouTube. And then my channel really started growing, and all these lessons, I'm carrying over to our clients, and it's always going to be a little different on the industry or whatever, but the general principles always apply to everything. So
that blows me away. I think more than anything is how people always go, oh yeah, but it's different for this industry. And it's not the vast majority of the time. I mean, Michael, if you're still watching, I'd be curious how long you've been a fan of Taylor. And for bonus points, can you remember the first video that you watched of Taylor's? I'd be very
That's
curious.
always interesting how people find you, or because it's not always what you think. It's not always the most popular. It could be just some very specific, you're trying to find a very specific need. And that's the thing too, like we were talking about, experimenting with content is also really important. Once you make content that hits, of course, keep hitting that until it runs dry, but also you never know there could be something that's even bigger than that. So it's really important to diversify and keep trying new things, because you just never know what's gonna hit.
Sure. So. How often do you hear on your channel people saying, gosh, I wish I started a channel, I want to start one, I got an idea?
Not that often, but I do get people every once in a while will message me on Twitter or something, and they'll ask for tips and advice, and it's fun. I really enjoy doing that, and that's kind of what we're hoping to do with these streams. I mean, this is the first of many, and we're really hoping to, if somebody's got a channel they're wanting us to look at, that would be really fun, is if we can review people's channels live and stuff like that. Because I think we joked about a nickname for for something would be the YouTube doctor or something like that. Because I think very quickly I can look at a channel and go, oh, this is working or not working for X, Y, and Z reason. So as we continue to do this and more people tune in, or even if it's like a friend's channel or something that you want us to take a look at, I mean, I'm happy to diagnose and write a prescription.
I really like that. Write a prescription. So yeah, the next time we do this, what if we straight up ask people, show us a channel that you like or hate, show us a channel. Because like, I think it would be fun to diagnose big, small, in between, whatever. I mean, you learn a lot from looking at the big channels as well as you do from looking at the small ones.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the lessons and principles and techniques that we've implemented not only on my channel, but for other like businesses that we make content for has definitely been from big channels. I mean, like, so we work with a doctor, and one guy we definitely pull inspiration from is Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
He's probably the biggest doctor channel on YouTube. And I mean, his content is not only informative, but very entertaining and well edited. So like, we definitely pull from that. And of course, like Mr. Beast is the biggest guy on the platform. So like, of course, we're gonna, pull like ideas from him. Now, we're not gonna, he put a video out recently. He didn't eat for 30 days. Well, I mean, that was the title.
That's fast.
It was a little bit of clickbait. He actually only fasted for 14 days.
What a butthole. That's false advertising.
It very much is. And the reason he broke his fast was because he met Gordon Ramsay, and Gordon Ramsay cooked him a meal. And he's like, hey, when are you going to get a meal from Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason to break a fast. Gordon Ramsay's trying to feed me. It's poison. Yeah. You donkey. It's raw. You're going to kill someone.
But yeah, I mean, big and small, there's lessons to be learned, what to do, what not to. And, there are a lot of small creators that I see that have good ideas or good things that they're trying, and they just haven't put enough stuff out yet. You need to, just keep putting stuff out there for sure.
I'd like to ask you 3 questions for 3 different scenarios, and this is more or less a lightning round. So it's advice for this specific person that we're making up. Okay. So number 1, it's going to be someone who has a job. They got the full-time covered. They got a bit of money coming in, not totally loving the job. They're thinking about starting a channel for a passion. What would you say? Lightning round.
I would say find something that you genuinely enjoy, because this is going to be a long-term thing. If you don't love it, you're going to hate it real quick. So don't pick something that you think is going to make a lot of money. Pick something that you love, because you'll definitely be more excited and be more willing to dedicate the time to do that. So I would say that would be that, and just be consistent. Be consistent, learn, and pick something that you love.
I like it. Okay, so lightning round again. So this is another advice for this person. And the person it's a business owner who needs a sale this month.
Oof. That's a good one.
I'm trying to stump you.
I would say, so try to make a solution video around whatever the product is. So let's just say, I'm gonna make this up. So let's say a pipe bursts in your house or something, and you're like, and you can't afford a plumber, or I don't know, but you're looking up how to fix a burst pipe. So let's say you make a video about fixing a burst pipe, and then you go, by the way, if you're in the so-and-so area, we fix burst pipes or whatever. Nice. Here's our number, give us a call. Something along those lines. It's like, hey, here's the problem. By the way, we can fix that problem for you. Here's the number to call. Something like that. That would be probably my number 1 recommendation, if they don't have ad spend, if it was just a organic video.
Very nice. I like it. Can I jump in real quick with my lightning round to that one? Okay, so the situation is it's a business owner that needs a sale this month. So Alex Hormozi, I really like him a lot right now. I've been listening to him more than Gary Vaynerchuk. But so what he says that the 2 big options that you have is 1, give a discount for your product or service for X amount of people. It's usually, like pick a reason for a reason. So he says, oh, birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 37. I'm giving 37 people 50% off, or 37 people 37% off. That'd be even better.
That's interesting.
And because that way you're at least getting people in, albeit at a discount, but there's hopefully going to be more than that number of people coming in for the discount. What he also says is if you can wait a little bit and you don't need that immediate payoff, what you can do is offer free something to get a flood of leads. That way you do, of course, give the free something to the first 10 or so people. But after that, now you've got all these leads. You know these people have a problem, and you know it's a burning problem because they contacted you to get it for free.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to do it.
That's a good one. My thought is, how many times can you use that technique over and over again? I suppose you could do it infinitely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's how willing are you to give something away for free or give a discount? I mean, that's the question you got to ask, I think.
Okay, so I got a third outcome for you. So this is advice for a business owner that's hired a service to provide content and channel building services for them. They've had this partnership for about 6 months. They're seeing the channel grow. There's definitely more attention and more attention coming into the channel, but money has not started to roll in yet. What advice would you give for that business owner?
I would say if you can afford it, stick with it, because it's like content is a long game. Like I think if you are paying a provider to make content for you, you have to be willing to invest in the long game. Because if you want like you said, like a quick sale, I need a sale yesterday, you pay somebody to run ads, and that gets sales. But I think content can do both. Like you have sustained attention, and you can make sales with it too. So I would say if you can, then just stick with it, because it's only going to go up, especially if they're good at what they do. And like you said, if they're starting to see some momentum, like I would say just ride it out as long as you can.
Nice. I like it. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in today. So if y'all have any questions, if you want to know about channel building, working to become an influencer, how to build a channel that people are paying attention to, either for yourself, for a business, for a hobby, let us know. We're Level Up Video. You probably know Taylor from the gaming shelf. He's definitely a pro and a minor celeb. All this weekend I was hearing, oh my God, it's the gaming shelf at the beach.
Everybody, they were asking for autographs. Yeah.
Granted, it was, from my girlfriend's son, but still, it was pretty neat for him to see a celebrity at the beach. So yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Any other questions, put them down in the comments and we'll get it back to you. Today's, I almost said Wednesday. Today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think I put this on for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Would you be interested in doing it again?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It'll be fun.
Tomorrow?
Sure.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Okay. Well, we'll see y'all tomorrow, Wednesday, about 2 o'clock. Tune in. Any questions, let us know, and we'll see you then.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.